I work for a full-service investment banking and securities firm. The full-service investment banking and securities firm. We are engaged in investment management, provide mergers and acquisitions advice, asset management, underwriting services, and prime brokerage services to our clients, which include individuals, corporations, and governments. Our firm also engages in proprietary trading and private equity deals, and is a primary dealer in the United States Treasury security markets. In case you didn't understand what I just said, congratulations. You're like 99.99% of the people. My name is not important. What you need to know is that I'm here to tell you the truth. The truth, which has been obfuscated from your view. The truth of which you have been willfully ignorant. The truth that is too complicated for you to understand because that's the way we made it. I'm willing to tell you this truth because it doesn't matter. You won't believe it, or you won't understand it, or you won't care. You feel safe in your belief that the government will look after you and protect you from people like us, even after I tell you that the government is our partner. In any case, you won't do anything with the truth. You have been trained, and trained well, not to. One person can't make a difference. You can't fight City Hall. The regulators are watching out for us. It doesn't matter who I vote for. Well, that last part is true. It doesn't matter who you vote for. Ultimately, while they shake your hands, kiss your babies, and tell you they are your representatives, they work for us. Not all of them, of course, but most of them, and certainly more than we need. What you need to know about our company is that everything we do is legal. Or if it isn't legal, we've had the law changed, so it is now. We don't trade in the ethics and morals markets. We leave that to people who talk for a living. Like every other corporation in the world, we deal with profit, money. We will use any legal means to separate you, your company, your country from your money. We have a fiduciary responsibility to maximize shareholder value, and that is what we do. We do our best work during a crisis. If we had a hand in creating the crisis, then so be it.
Okay, I'm ready. Oh, first let me just tell you, I am so happy to be my company's representative at this here deposition thingy today. My boss told me to just tell you everything I know, so that's what I'm gonna do. And hopefully, I will clear up your mistaken thinking so that you will see that our company did nothing wrong. Quite the opposite. Where do I look, at you or at the camera? Okay, well, My name is Pam Babbler. I work for American Document Processing Corporation. For short, that's Adipica. Excuse me, it doesn't really roll off the tongue. But I'm sure they're not going to change the name so they can have a more catchy acronym. Well, I don't know what my formal job title is, but I would say that I am a document processing clerk, for which I am paid $10 an hour. Oh, and I'm a notary public. Oh, and I'm the vice president of 27 banks. As for my background, I went to St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa. I received Bachelor of Arts degrees in literature and Spanish. So if you were to say to me, ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? I would be able to put both my degrees to work to tell you in Spanish where the bathroom is. Yeah. Oh, not the bathroom, the library. I don't know what I was thinking there for a minute. Oh, that a lot of people read in the bathroom, maybe. I have been working at the company for 8 months. My interview only lasted 10 minutes before they put me to work. A degree in literature is highly transferable to other work applications. A lot of people don't know that. They think it's a waste of time and money, but it's not. It just so happens that in this case it didn't matter because my boss has a keen eye. I think he knew right away that I was going to be a good worker. And I am loyal and hardworking, and I take direction well. I also make a lot of my own clothes, play the zither, and for some reason, small animals are drawn to me. No, those last three are not business related, but I thought you should have the complete picture of who Pam Babbler really is. So, let me tell you how this whole thing works. Give you the big picture, because I know you're all lawyers and you may not understand this financial stuff the way I do. So, first you have these big banks who give mortgages to people with poor credit, which I think is such a generous thing to do. Or they give mortgages to people who, for reasons I don't quite understand, do not supply any background information on themselves. They just tell the banks how much they make and the bank takes their word for it, which I think is just wonderful. People trusting people? We need more of that in our society. So then the big banks take these mortgages that they made to people who might have a hard time paying them back, and they bundle them together and they sell them like a stock. But before they can do that, they have to pay the ratings agencies a lot of money so that they'll give them the AAA ratings, which I'm told is the highest rating possible. Then once they have these AAA ratings, lots and lots of people want to buy them, because they're so safe. Then the banks buy a bunch of insurance or something in case the bundles go bad. Then they can make a lot of money that way too, which I guess is pretty smart. I mean, everybody should have insurance, don't you think? Now, where my company comes in is when some of these people can't pay their mortgages and the bank has to foreclose on them. My job is to sign the foreclosure documents. These papers list me as the vice president of all these different banks. But no one ever told me about the promotion, which is a bit strange. I mean, I would have preferred a little more ceremony to go along with it, but, you know, every company has its own culture, and I guess they're not real showy. Maybe they're owned by Mennonites or something. Anyway, the really neat thing for me, which made me feel kind of extra special, was that everybody else in the office was signing my name too. Me, Pam Babbler. My mother was so proud when I told her. We were required to sign 350 documents per hour. It isn't easy. Not everyone can do it. We had a woman a while back who lasted less than a day. If you do the math, it comes out to approximately 6 documents per minute. So before you even ask, let me tell you that no, I did not have time to read what we were signing. I would have to be a super speed reader to be able to do that and still make my quota. But my boss said it was all okay because it was all just standard legal language. You know, boilerplate stuff. I'm not sure what boilerplate means, but I think it's got to be a good thing. I mean, you guys are the lawyers. You probably all have boilerplates in your offices. So you should know that they're okay. Anyway, this whole thing is a pretty good deal for everybody. The big banks get to make money on loan fees. Then they make money when they sell the bundled loan thingies. And then they make money on the insurance when the bundles go bad. The ratings agencies make money for rating these mortgage bundle thingies, AAA. The people in pensions clubs, investment clubs, and such make money on the interest payments when people pay their mortgage. People who pay their mortgage build equity, or they would if home prices had not fallen so far below the prices they bought them at. People who default on their mortgages are okay too. They get to walk away from the properties they can't afford instead of owing a whole lot more money than their houses are worth. And my company gets to make money processing the foreclosures. So everybody wins. It's like a win, 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 win. Oh, when the mortgages go bad because of too many defaults? Well, the people who own them lose all the money they invested, but everybody else is a winner. I mean, that's why I don't put my money in the stock market. I own 30-year bonds that pay me exactly 2.51% interest, and that money is guaranteed by the government. I'm no dummy. So, I don't remember what your original question was, but hopefully I cleared everything up for you. I mean, no, our company didn't do everything the way it's technically supposed to be done, but we did it in the name of expediency to help people get their business taken care of more quickly. Not because we were doing anything bad. And it all turned out okay, right? Why are you looking at me like that?
Life is a series of ups and downs. The markets are no different. When internet stocks crashed, we found a new bubble to inflate: housing. Using collateralized debt obligations. You may have heard the term CDOs. Most likely you've heard neither. The mortgages go bad, and we win. We sold people poison and then took out life insurance policies on them. Yes, there were lawsuits, and we settled. $60 million. Our CDO division made $60 million in a day and a half during the boom times. Any commodity you can think of, if the price is high, that's us, working our magic, pulling the levers behind the scenes. When prices crash, we got out yesterday. Where are the regulators, you ask? Well, every major United States financial official used to work for us. And I use the words used to loosely. What? Did you think they'd leave a high-paying job with us to go and work for the government because they wanted to serve their country? How quaint. Nope, not gonna do it. I promised Mia I was gonna quit, and I meant it. Can't afford them for one thing. And they're bad for my health, and I have got to set a good example for my girls. Mia is 13, and Jesse's 9. They're good kids. Great kids, actually. Dan and I always really wanted the best for them. They always had it, too, right up until the day he died. I used to joke when we were first married that when he died, I was going to become one of those crazy old ladies with the 27 cats. But he wasn't supposed to die at 35. 1 minute, he was a healthy, loving husband and doting father. The next day, he had pancreatic cancer, and 2 weeks later, I was a widow. I needed more time. I wasn't ready. I know nobody's ever ready. Telling the girls was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Their expressions will be burned in my mind until the day I die. Whew, we were devastated. I mean, everyone who knew him was. I was depressed. I mean, I tried to keep myself together for my girls, but I couldn't. I had to get a job. We got insurance money, but I mean, we were burning through that like you couldn't imagine. We needed more, a lot more. 15 years ago when we got that policy, it seemed like a lot more money than it does today. I had been out of the workforce since Jesse was born. But I mean, I had a degree in accounting. I figured, how hard could it be to get a job? Well, in this economy, and with a 6-year gap in my job history, and at my age, the answer is pretty hard. So I started taking some pills for my depression. They didn't help, so I started taking more pills, not all by prescription. And the downward spiral that was my life without Dan accelerated. And I had some interviews. I had this one where I actually showed up straight, had a great interview. everybody I talked to seemed to like me. You know, I thought, okay, this is it. This is where I turn the corner. This is where I start to get my life back together. 2 weeks later, I get a letter in the mail saying that I didn't get the job. But, I mean, neither did anybody else. They had eliminated the position. Then this guy I bought pills from asked me if I wanted to work for him. I had no job. The money was running out, and I had a pill habit, so I said yes. Told myself I was doing it for my girls. I was out in the streets selling meth for my kids. That didn't sound one bit wrong to me at the time. The lies we tell ourselves to keep our worldview as it is. Then the guy I worked for said that I needed to sample the product so that I would know what I was talking about when I sold. And as we all now know about how meth works, one dose makes an addict. Another lie I told myself was that taking pills was okay, but meth? How could I think meth was okay? How could I look at Mia and Jesse? Then one day, I was rummaging through my closet looking for more stuff I could sell to get money for drugs, and I came across this shoebox full of letters Dan had written me when we first dating, back when people still wrote letters. I have it here. Dear Carolyn, today, as I walked to the train after a long day at work, I watched the setting sun. The clouds were an incredible mixture of purples, blues, and reds. I spoke to myself as I took in this mesmerizing sight. Carolyn, I said. I stopped, realizing that that didn't make any sense. But a few steps later, I thought maybe it did after all. You see, I recognize in you that common quality you share with all things beautiful. I can't tell you what it is, only that I know you have it, as sure as I know that sky had it. You are a daily living reminder of God's presence in my life. I want to grow old with you. Thinking of you brings me great joy. But there is a sadness too. The sadness of knowing that words cannot adequately express the way I feel about you. My one hope is that someday, with my embrace, my kiss, and my caress, you will understand what it is you do to me. Love always and in always. The very next day, I went to my first NA meeting, and I haven't touched so much as an aspirin since. I carry Dan's letter with me everywhere I go. In a way, it's like there's still some piece of him that's still with me, reminding me that I can do better than this. This woman I met at NA got me involved with this private charity that helps women in addiction recovery. They got me a job. it wasn't an accounting job. I was making less than half of what I made as an accountant, but it was a job, a fresh start. But it wasn't enough. I mean, we were still struggling financially, so I got a second job working part-time with this rich old lady who volunteered with a charity. And then I met Roy. He was kind and supportive, and he was nice to the girls. And he really came at a time when I needed someone. He's not perfect, but I'm in no position to judge. It was a couple months later that he asked me to marry him. He was no Dan, to be sure, but by that time, I was no Carolyn either. Not the Carolyn I used to be. A drug addict widow with 2 kids and debts up to my ears. I was no prize. We got married. We got married. Not long after, there was an incident at work, and he was fired. And we had just started getting ahead, paying down debt. He just seemed to sit around on the couch all day or go out with some drinking buddies. And so I begged the woman that I worked with to take him on, and she did for a while. And then she let him go for drinking on the job. He needs to get another job, though I have no idea how that's going to happen. The days when a family could survive on one income are long, long gone. Like a lot of other things. It would be too hard on the girls if things don't work out with Roy and me, and I'm not going to do that to them. Jessie spends most of the time with her grandma, and Mia, she can pretty much take care of herself. I wish I had more time to spend with them. I'm missing a lot. But, I'm not going to let that get me down. I will do anything I have to take care of my girls. Anything. I'll work 10 jobs if I have to, if I could find 10 jobs. Mia and Jessie mean everything to me. Everything. We didn't create the internet bubble. We just took advantage of it. Like we take advantage of everything we can. You wanted to buy startup companies whose business plans were written on cocktail napkins. We just prettied them up for the IPO, took our 7%, and got out of the way when the companies failed. How we were so good at taking a company public is beside the point. And frankly, the details are boring. The point is, if you bought one of these IPOs on the open market, you were one of the suckers. You got played. You think the $110 million fine we paid 5 years after the fact hurt us? We paid out $28 billion in compensation that year. $110 million isn't a fine. It's a cost of doing business. Nothing more. I didn't really know what I wanted to major in college. All I knew was that I wanted to be a cheerleader. I was the cheer captain in high school and a member of the student council. I practically planned the entire prom myself, including the theme, Chastity in the Moonlight. And the sub-theme, No HPV for me. Oh. No. For me. Oh, I still got it.
okay grades in high school. I mean, a lot of people see a cheerleader with blonde hair and think I'm stupid, but I'm not. I got really great scores on my college entrance exams. If I were stupid, would I have picked the right girl to take the test for me? There's more than one way to measure intelligence. I didn't really think that my parents could afford college, but you would not believe how easy it is to get a student loan from the government. I guess they want everybody to have a degree. And I thought, well, if everybody else is getting one, I better get one too, right? But my college did not give any cheerleading scholarships. I know, right? I so would have gotten one. But, I mean, I made the cheer team anyway. I did not make student government my freshman year, but my sophomore year, my posters had my picture on them, and I got more votes than everybody else combined. So a lot of people said that I should major in marketing, so I did. I heard you can make a lot of money in that. Oh, I interned at this PR and marketing firm my junior year, and I mean, it was interesting, but I didn't really learn much, you know? And they had me like take these potential new clients to these offices and show them around. And a bunch of stupid stuff like that, and take these people out to lunch. Well, these men, actually. The only client I actually got to work with was this mortgage processing firm. I know, right? Boring. I mean, they were getting some pretty bad press, so they let me sit in on a brainstorming session. I told them to have their CEO hold this like big press conference and cry a lot and everything, and like tell everybody that he had a brain tumor or Tourette's or something. And then they sent me out for coffee. But I think that they were beyond help by the time they brought me in. I heard sometime later that they ended up going bankrupt or getting indicted or something. They should have listened to me. I cry all the time. It always gets me free stuff and gets people to like me more and want to help me. Oh my gosh. I cheated on my boyfriend once. And when he found out, I cried and stuff. And by the time I was done, he thought it was his fault. My senior year, the basketball team made the Final Four. So we got to miss a ton of classes to go and cheer at the games. And well, somehow the basketball players were able to maintain their grades. We missed too many classes, and I had to go to summer school in order to graduate. But the really cool thing was that they let me walk through the graduation line anyway and get like an empty diploma holder, and nobody knew about it. So, after I graduated, I had like $90,000 in student loan debt. So my plan was to get a really great job making like $100,000 or so a year and have the loans paid off in about 5 years or so. So I moved in with a bunch of friends in this apartment, and the problem was that none of us could find jobs. And they had already been looking for a while, so that only lasted like 3 months. And then I moved back in with my parents. I love my parents and everything, but mean, they were starting to get on my nerves. I mean, all of a sudden, they were like completely unreasonable. You know, they wanted me to do my own laundry and pick up after myself and cook. My dad even asked me once to cut the grass. Hello! I did not go to college for 4.5 years so that I could cut grass. I told my dad, don't you have some Mexicans for that or something? So in order to get my parents off my back, I went back to school and got my MBA. I figured the more school you go to, the more money you make when you get out. But it turns out that a lot of people have their MBAs. And people who aren't nearly as smart as me. As smart as I, sorry. So after I graduated, I had a ton more debt. And I still couldn't find my $100,000 a year job. It was so frustrating because I just knew my $100,000 a year job was just out there waiting for me somewhere. I just couldn't find it. You see, that's the problem with college. They never teach you how to find that $100,000 a year job. But I wasn't going to let that get me down. I'm the kind of person who looks on the bright side of things. Oh my gosh. When I was in high school, our football team only won 2 games in 4 years. The cheerleaders who didn't look on the bright side of things ended up doing drugs or getting pregnant. Me, I thought, hey, if the fans can't stand to watch the football players in another blowout, they'll be looking at me more. You see what I'm saying? It's that kind of positivity-ness that deserves a $100,000 a year job. So, no, I couldn't find a job, and me and my parents were always at each other's throats, and my brother's friends kept stopping by while I was in the family room doing my yoga. But on the bright side, your student loan payment is based on how much money you make. And I wasn't making anything. How great is that? Oh! Then one day, I was sitting in my doctor's waiting room, and this beautiful, sophisticated-looking woman comes walking in, pulling this little wheeled suitcase behind her. And she went up to the receptionist, and the receptionist got on the phone, and a couple seconds later, the doctor comes rushing out and gives her this big hug, and they disappeared in the back. And I was like, who was that? So I went over to the receptionist, and I was like, who is that? And she said that it was a drug rep. Every once in a while, she comes in and tries to talk the doctor into writing some more subscriptions. Prescriptions. I always do that. And she takes them out to lunch and everything. And I thought, oh my God, I'm beautiful and sophisticated looking. I could pull a little wheeled suitcase behind me. I like eating lunch. I should be a drug rep. So I waited for her to come out, and I talked to her and got her business card, and a couple weeks later, I was training to be a drug rep. This was an awesome job. And while it only paid half of my target salary in base pay, they gave quarterly bonuses and annual bonuses and stock options if you did really well. Here's how it works. So, like, a person sees an advertisement for a drug on TV, And they call up their doctor and they say that they want a prescription. And the doctor has them come in and provides them with some samples, which I have provided to him. And then if the patient likes them, they can come back in and get a prescription. Every once in a while, I take the doctor out to lunch, and he just stares at me and nods at everything I say. And then the company pays for the lunch. Because I'm smart and I have my MBA, I started thinking that maybe this whole system isn't as efficient as maybe it could be. What if I gave the samples to the patients directly, and then if they like them, they can call their doctor and get a prescription? Well, it turns out this is illegal, and I got fired. Apparently, having an MBA after your name is not the same as having MD. I don't know why not. The only thing doctors know about my drugs is what I tell them. They don't have time to read, and I'm the one who got fired? Unbelievable. Well, I applied for unemployment, and I cried a ton in my interview, and I got it. But then the company appealed, and we had to have this big government hearing over the phone. And oh my gosh, I was totally on the verge of cracking up the entire time, because here we were having this big official government hearing, and I was still in my bed wearing my footy pajamas. I won the appeal, and I didn't even have to cry. It turns out nobody ever saw me give anybody anything. So, spoiler alert, 99 weeks of unemployment pay. Can you believe that? 99 weeks? That's like a really long paid vacation. 99 weeks, that's like a really long time, I think. And the funniest part is that it's a total burn on the people who are still employed. Because, I mean, they have to work harder and pay for all of us unemployed people. So, that's hilarious. Of course, it's not going to be so funny when I have to get another job. And I have to get another job pretty soon because my 99 weeks is almost up. And my parents want me to start paying rent. Can you believe that? That's my room. That has been my room my whole life. And now they want me to start paying rent? Unbelievable. But because I'm smart and I have my MBA and I had so much time off, I have been thinking about this whole college experience. College is so expensive because everybody goes. I have my MBA, so I know about stuff like supply and demand. My college freshman psychology class had a ton of people just sitting there listening to the professor lecture. I thought, do I really need to be here? I mean, couldn't I just listen to him talk over the internet? Of course, if all of our classes were over the internet, we would have missed out on a lot of really great parties. And that's really a big part of the whole experience, right? Oh, my brother didn't go to college. He took all of the money that he'd saved for college and he bought gold and silver coins and became an apprentice electrician. I thought that was a pretty dumb idea, but now he has a job and he makes a ton of money. And he owns his own house.
And I'm still looking for my $100,000 a year job. Maybe I should go back to school and learn some more. This is a dollar bill. It used to be redeemable for silver or gold, but not anymore. Now it's backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. So now you can actually see what the dollar is backed by. Nothing. An empty promise. The dollar has declined 95.6% since 1913 when the Federal Reserve was created. If you had one of these in 1913, today it's worth this. In 1971, we went off the gold standard, which meant politicians could print as many of those as they wanted. Politicians discovered long ago that spending money on their constituents gets them reelected. Of course, the more of those they print, the less they're worth. Our company has to get a lot more of them just to keep up. So do you. But we're much better at it than you are. Whew. That feels good to sit down. Take a load off, you know. It's been a while since we've been to this park. I got too many kids, that's the problem. Take a half a day to get them all out the house. Fallopian, you climbed up there. Now slide down the tube, girl. You're holding everybody up. Oh, people ask me why I give my kids such odd names. I said, what you want? I give my kids white people names. Ain't gonna give my kids no slave names. Vagina. What did you do, girl? You all wet. Now go stand in the sun and dry off. These kids is driving me crazy. I need to get out of the apartment more. I need to get a job is what I need. Oh, I had one once. I had a couple of them. I worked for this rich white lady, taking care of her dogs, cleaning her house, helping the gardener. My cousin Dee Dee is dating the fellow who drive this old lady around. She said, I told her you were from Jamaica. Can you talk with a Jamaican accent? I said, but surely I can't, Mama Bunk Claude. How long have you been in there talk this way for? She said, as long as I worked out. I was like, what the hell you go telling I'm from Jamaica for? She said, I should be happy she got me a job, right? So I go working there for 2 weeks, talking with an accent like a damn fool. I go to pick up my paycheck. I get an envelope of cash in it. I said, now hold up. How come I ain't getting no check with the Social Security taken out? Everybody working there be like, what you complaining about? You get more money this way. Now, I like getting more money, ain't no doubt about that. But what happened when I go to collect Social Security and they tell me, you ain't paid nothing in? You see, I'm a long-term thinker. At least I became one after I had 5 damn kids. And I know if you rip the government off now, they're going to rip you off later. Ain't no free lunch. Now, I know there ain't going to be no money left for me by the time I retire anyway, but still, the whole system incontinent. Ain't going to be no money left. But that old woman had all that money and she don't want to pay no taxes for the poor people she got working for her. I asked around. It turned out she only hired illegals. Which is why my stupid ass cousin told me to talk with a Jamaican accent. I told that old lady it wasn't right. She told me not to come back. Then my friend girl Willa got me a job where she was working, right? She said, it's a desk job. It's the easiest job you ever gonna have. So I go in there for my interview, and this guy looked at me and he said, can you read and write? I'm sitting there thinking, what kind of people they be interviewing for a desk job that can't read and write? I said, of course I can read and write. He said, you're hired. Just like that. He didn't even ask me for my resume or nothing. Now, I don't have a resume, but still. You think he needs to know more than if I can read and write? So I go in there for my first day, and I'm sitting there, and this lady come over, and she put a stack of papers on my desk. She said, wherever you see a sticky tab that says sign there, you sign there. And I'm thinking, what the hell they need my signature for? I ain't nobody, right? And then she said, but don't sign your name, sign the name Pam Babbler. And I said, who's Pam Babbler? And the second I said it, I thought, LaMonica? It don't matter who no damn Pam Babbler is. These people running a scam up in here, and they need some chump like me going to help them with it. She said, she's the bank vice president. She walked off just like that. Like that explained everything. I wanted to be like, who my paycheck going to be made out to? Pam Babbler? So they want me, LaMonica Johnson, to forge a signature of a bank vice president on some very official looking documents. Now, I might not be no good at counting the days from my last period. But I ain't a damn fool. So I left out of there right quick. I don't know exactly what they be doing, but it got to be illegal. Willa said later that they chose the name Pam Babbler because it's short and easy to spell. Can you believe these people? Ain't nobody on the level no more. Everybody looking for a quick score is what it is. Felicia, get that out of your mouth, girl. I said put it down. Without no job, I can't get no health insurance. Well, yes, we got Medicaid, but not everybody accepts Medicaid. Then what you gonna do, You gotta go halfway across town to the Medicaid clinic and sit there for a half a day until some doctor from Guatemala who don't speak no damn English gonna come out there and call your name? No, thank you. I got my own health care plan for my girls. I call it LaMonica. Girl get a bump on her head, I said go get a bag of frozen peas and put it on there. Another girl get a scrape, I say go find that stray dog that's been running around here and let him lick it. No, I'm serious. First thing a dog do when he be hurt is lick himself. There's got to be something in their saliva that heals wounds. Ain't no point in paying for no prescription when you can have a dog lick on it. And the dog be happy to do it too. Hell, he'd probably pay you if he could. Urethra? I told you pissing your life away just sitting around doing nothing. Get up and go play, girl. I got too many kids, I know it. It's too late now. When I was in high school, they started giving out them free condoms until some busybodies found out about it and made them quit. They said, you condone in teen sex. Sex should be taught by the parents, not in schools. Hell, just about everybody I knew who wasn't plug ugly was having sex at
some point, and ain't nobody saw no condoms as they ticket to go start knocking boots. Labia, I have had about enough of your lip this week, girl. Play nice. And parents teaching their kids about sex? Police. The only thing my mama ever told me about sex was don't get pregnant. A lot of good that did. I need a job, all right? I just need a job. I mean, I know you can't put me in front of people because I ain't intelligent. I don't talk like white folk. But I mean, I could work in a factory or something. Except there ain't no factories left no more. They all packed up and left for China. I'm serious. 4th of July weekend, I was up at my brother Ricky's house, and he had one of them American flags with a little tag on it that said, "H.O. in China." H.O. in China. Our American flags is made up in China, and they're telling us about it in Spanish? Now, that might sit right with a Guatemalan doctor down at the Medicaid clinic, but it don't sit right with me. Felicia! Stop licking on that boy, girl. You ain't no magic saliva dog. You know what? I said, that's it. We going home. Let's go, girls. We leaving. Let's go. I need a job. I'd do anything except daycare. Anything but that. I just need a job. I came out here and said that I was going to tell you the truth. And you believed me. But the truth is malleable. Yes, it's true. We have a fiduciary responsibility to maximize shareholder value. But do you really think that's what we do? We pay ourselves billions of dollars in bonuses, even in down years. Yes, we could pay bigger dividends to our investors, but then that money would go to them instead of to us. And we have to pay big bonuses to retain the best employees, or so we tell you. We're going to take a 15-minute break now so that you can digest what I've already told you. Feel free to visit the speakeasy. Everything we do is leveraged for maximum profit. Heard of derivatives? They are unregulated, complex bets, and they provide a lot of leverage. There are more than $600 trillion worth of these bets worldwide, more than all the stocks, bonds, and bank deposits combined. We are too big to fail, which means if things move against us, taxpayers will help us out, whether you know it or not. Profits are privatized, losses are socialized. In case you don't know what that means, it's heads we win, tails you lose. Always. Can you blame us for doing what we do? How much would you gamble at the casino if you knew you couldn't lose?
The trouble started when my Henry passed. Well, that's not exactly accurate. I should say I discovered the trouble when Henry passed. It's my own fault, of course. I should have been more involved with the family finances. Don't worry about a thing, darling. I'll take care of everything, he'd say. You're far too busy with your philanthropic endeavors to worry about such pettiness. When I finally had a look at the books, I was surprised to discover that our finances had been in decline for several years. And the investments that remained were difficult, if not impossible, to understand. Collateralized debt obligations and derivatives and other such nonsense. I had a team of accountants helping me with it all, and none of them could explain it to me in a way that makes sense. And I was a finance major back in college, way back when. Though I never did enter the business world, I married Henry and he took me away to Chicago, and that was that. I always felt it a bit unfair that he met me and courted me in New York City. But as soon as we were married, it was off to Chicago. But I was in love, and Henry had his business, so off we went. Not long after came the children and social obligations, and any ideas I had of joining the workforce fell by the wayside. In a way, it has been my full-time job to be the public relations spokeswoman for the family. And to raise the children, of course. I mean, someone had to manage the nannies and the tutors and such. Lord knows Henry wasn't going to do it. But I've always felt that if you can't simply explain an investment, then you needn't own it. And our portfolio was filled with inexplicable junk. Honestly, I don't think the accountants understood it either. So, I had them sell it all and book some fairly hefty losses. So much so that I had to change my lifestyle. My yearly jaunt to Europe was out. I had to sell the Sanibel Island beach house. Never could stand the humidity anyway. But I could not bear to part with a house in the Hamptons. It's been in my family for several decades. I practically grew up there in the summers. I've had to let go of staff. It's just really heartbreaking because these people really need jobs. Oh, there was this one fellow. He was easy to let go. He was supposed to be a handyman, though he wasn't very handy. And I could smell liquor on his breath. And I cannot tolerate workers who drink on the job. Now, don't get me wrong. I've had my fair share of cocktails in my time. And Lord knows Henry enjoyed a drink or two after work. But that was different. He wasn't working. I suppose Henry had more than one 3-martini lunches. But that was different. He wasn't doing manual labor. No, somebody could get hurt. I had to let the man go. And it became a bit awkward, as his wife was also in my employ. You see, I'm on the board of a certain charity that helps women in addiction recovery. And this woman was really struggling. So I agreed to take her on part-time. Soft touch that I am, I allowed her to talk me into taking on her husband. That was a mistake. But I have divested myself of his services, and I recommend this poor woman do the same. You can hardly recover from substance abuse when you live with an alcoholic. Now, I don't know that he was an alcoholic, but he did show up to work more than once, and he was a lousy handyman. As I mentioned, I normally hire only undocumented workers. The desperate make the best workers when you get right down to it. And they're so happy to be employed. Honestly, I enjoy still being able to help them. There was this one woman. She said she was from Jamaica. She wanted me to pay Social Security taxes on her behalf. I thought, the nerve of this woman. Why would I do such a thing? I pay all my employees in cash, of course. Why should I pay Social Security taxes on my employees? So the government can take that money and use it to bail out failing businesses who will then turn around and pay their incompetent employees big bonuses? No, thank you. And let me tell you something else. The government doesn't take that money and set it aside. They don't invest it in the future. They spend it. They mix it in with the general fund and they spend it to keep themselves elected. All of these people talking about when Clinton was president, we had budget surpluses. No, we didn't. If you want to count Social Security taxes paid in as revenue instead of a liability, then yes, we had budget surpluses. But if the government was honest and it did its finances like any household or legitimate business does, then we had deficits, just like every other year. You know, it used to be the playing field for businesses was level. If you didn't know how to run your business, then your business failed. That was as it should be. Now the government has made it their job to pick winners and losers. If you have a failing business, but you're well connected politically, the government will give you our tax money so that you can go on making poor decisions right along. It hurts everyone. The good businesses have to struggle to keep up with the government-sponsored bad ones. Where was I? Jamaican woman. I don't believe she understood that in order for an employer to pay Social Security taxes for you, then you have to have a Social Security number. But she persisted, so I had to let her go. And it was a shame, too. She was a marvelous employee, very clean herself. And she kept this place so clean, you would think homosexuals lived here. That's no knock on homosexuals. Quite the opposite. I've grown rather fond of them as I've aged. And I've always felt that people should be allowed to sleep with whomever they wish. Lord knows my Henry did. I shouldn't have said that. That's a personal matter. Anyway, I found out that she wasn't a Jamaican at all. She was an American, so I'm glad I fired her. That was unethical of her to lie like that. What's happened to this country? Where's the civility and manners and decency? I may not belong for this world, but I'm going to keep up the good fight against these people who refuse to follow society's rules. My grandchildren and great-grandchildren are going to have to struggle against this their whole lives. And I want to set a good example.
Do you understand what I'm telling you yet? The man behind the curtain, who you're paying no attention to, that's us. We have the cash, the brains, and the technology to outmaneuver you and take your money. Over 65% of the daily volume on the stock exchanges are trades made by computers, and ours are the fastest. There's a few cents difference between what a buyer will buy for and what a seller will sell for. Our computers see your order coming in, and they jump ahead of it to make a quick penny or two per share. And we do this over and over and over. Millions of shares per day. Millions of pennies going into our pockets for nothing. You don't even know it happened. Sure, I like nice things. Doesn't everybody? And Donnie and I had a good thing going there too for a while. Until everything went kablooey, that is. You know, we had a nice house and a good neighborhood and a good suburb. Nice people, great restaurants. People from everywhere wanting to live there. And we started noticing that the prices of houses in our neighborhood kept going up and up and up. So every couple of years, Donnie and I go and refinance our mortgage, right? This works great for a while. We're taking nice vacations, buying new clothes, new cars, the works. Then one day, a while back now, we go to refinance our mortgage, and they tell us, your equity has gone down. And we started noticing that houses in our neighborhood are taking longer and longer to sell. And the ones that we're selling, well, I couldn't understand why they were taking such lowball offers. But the ones who weren't taking the lowball offers were not getting sold. So I said to Donnie, listen, sweetheart, you need to make more money. It's that simple. Long story short, it turns out Donnie can't just make more money. Middle management construction guys aren't on commission or anything like that, and his boss wasn't about to give him a raise. Boy, I wasn't happy about that. The whole point of us moving to Chicago was because he said he was going to be the boss. Middle management? If I had known that, I would have never agreed to move here. We're from New Jersey. That's where I'm from. That's where my family is. People move so slow here. So we had to start cutting back on things, right? But it turns out for Donnie, it was just business as usual. He was still spending like we did before, and I said, listen, we can't do that no more. The bank won't give us no more money. So a while back, we're sitting at home, and Donnie's watching the game, and I had just finished putting on my French tip press-on nails with rhinestone. And let me tell you, they looked fabulous. None of my girlfriends knows the difference. They still think I'm going to that little place on 5th
where the little Korean ladies buff the crap out of your nails and talk about you behind your back? Except they're doing it right in front of your face. Because none of them thinks any of us speaks Korean, which is true. But still, I mean, I don't like their attitude about it, right? So I hear a knock at the door, right? And I go answer the door, and there stands two bruisers in dirty jumpsuits saying, "Yeah, is either one of you two Cindy Trinetti?" And I say, "I'm Cindy Trinetti, what can I do for you?" Right? And the tall guy says, "We're here from the collections department of the Heritage Credit Corporation." Right away, I'm thinking, great. What bill did Donnie forget to pay now? I don't know why I let Donnie pay the bills. First of all, he's a slob. He puts things in piles on the dining room table, and then when he runs out of room there, he puts them downstairs on the pool table, which is already full of laundry and such. And then he can't find nothing when he needs it. We haven't had a meal at our dining room table in 3 years. I mean, I don't really cook, right? But still. Secondly, like I said, he's still spending like an oil chic. And see, he hides his purchases, so I don't even know how much he's spending. I'm an idiot for letting him go near the checkbook. Oh, he is good with haggling, though, I'll give him that much. I get a new car every 2 years, and he always gets top dollar on the trade-in and a good price on the new car. He even talks them down on the extended warranty and rust proofing. So the tall guy says to me, "We're here for a repossession." And right away I'm thinking, great, I hope it's that stupid pool table they're after. They can have that monstrosity. I mean, Donnie never plays pool. I'm not even sure he knows how. And the damn thing takes up half the downstairs family room. I hate it. Plus, I was looking forward to watching these two oafs carry that thing up the stairs and out to their truck. That thing is slate. Do you know how heavy slate is? Well, the last time we refinanced, I had the slate countertops ripped out and Carrara marble put in. Well, I watched those guys haul it out of here, and let me tell you, it did not look easy. And they had it all broken up into chunks. That pool table is one big hunk of slate. Besides, I watched the delivery guys move it in here, and they had like 5 guys and all sorts of straps and pads and this contraption that could practically walk downstairs. So I'm thinking, go ahead and take the stupid pool table. You be doing me a favor. And the tall guy looks at me and says, "We're here to repossess your breast implants." And I look at this guy, and I look at the other guy, and I look back at the first guy again, and I say, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And the short guy says, "You've missed your last 10 payments, and we gotta draw the line somewhere." Right away I'm thinking, that mouth-breathing husband of mine has been making the payments on that stupid pool table, but not on my breast? I will kill him. I say, and I'm paraphrasing John Wayne right here, "This is goddamn ridiculous. You can't have them, they're mine." And the short guy, and I think he's kind of good looking, but short, he says, "They're only yours if you pay for them. You didn't pay for them." And the tall guy, you know,
Not bad looking, but the short guy was a lot hotter. He says, it's like this house. You may think you own it, but until you pay it off, you really don't. And the cute guy says, yeah, it's simple. The bank owns your house, and we own your breasts. And they start giggling. I say, now wait a minute. This isn't a house or a car we're talking about. These are my breasts. And the tall guy says, yeah, we can see that. We never had to do a breast implant repossession before. So this is new to us too. It seems like most people don't finance their cosmetic surgeries, which seems like maybe the route you should have gone. But you know, hindsight's 20/20, not 36D. And they start giggling again. I'm over here freaking out. And these two clowns are making titty jokes. Mr. Moneybags is still sitting on the couch, oblivious. I'm not even sure he knows anybody's at the door, and I'm standing there trying to think about what to do, right? So I say, you know, money's a little tight, fellas. Maybe we can work something out. And the tall guy says, you know, we're not unsympathetic to your situation. And going with the set was an excellent choice. I mean, they look great on you. But we gotta have them. And the cute guy says, if you'd like, we can leave you alone with him for a minute or two. But that's the best we can do. Now, the short guy is totally hot, and he smells amazing. I don't know what he's wearing. Tom Ford or Prada, I don't know. But the two of them are starting to tee me off. I mean, who ever heard of such a thing? I say, listen, guys, it's not like they're easily accessible. And the tall guy says, sure they are. I can see them right there. Here, let me help you with them. And he starts making a move towards me. Now, if the totally hot short guy wanted to have at him, that might have been a different story. But as it was, I'm freaking out, right? And finally, my big dummy husband hears what's going on, right? And he's gonna come over to my defense, and he gets himself all puffed up. And he walks over and he says, all right, that's enough. I want you two out of here. Nobody walks into the house of Donnie Trinetti talking to my wife that way. No one. And the tall guy looks at his clipboard and he says, Donnie Trinetti, are you the Donnie Trinetti who's 4 payments behind on your penile implants? And right away I'm thinking, whoa! He got a penile implant? Because he sure don't act like it. So the three of us are standing there for a moment of freaking dizzying silence. And Donnie says, sweetheart, you want to give him the breasts? Jerk. I could have killed him. Long story short, I talked to the manager, who miraculously agreed that 2 uneducated repo men should not be removing breast implants from a woman's body. Go figure. I made that misfit husband of mine get rid of his motorcycle and his boats and a few other of his toys, and I got to keep my breasts, as you can plainly see. Plus, I got the number of the totally hot short guy. Just in case, I don't know, a heavy slate pool table should collapse on him. God forbid.
Well, if you ask me, it is obviously the fault of the Democrats. I'm all for helping the poor, but it should not be a government enterprise. Tending to the poor is best left to private organizations, churches and charities and such. The only thing the government does well is kill people. And the military is fraught with corruption and waste, even so. And tariffs government places on goods stimulates nothing but sloth and inefficiency. Competition is for the competent. Do not reward bad behavior, I always say. And the civil decline, manners and decency and such, is also the fault of the Democrats and their anything-goes attitude. Children don't respect authority in general, and their parents in particular. And that is because parents don't want to be parents anymore. They want to be their children's friends. And that, in my opinion, is a mistake with enormous consequences. And if you checked, I'm quite certain you'd find that these wishy-washy parents and their obstreperous children are, by and large, Democrats. Well, it's everybody nowadays, but it was started by the Democrats. Of that, I am absolutely certain.
Oh, I'll tell you whose fault it is. I'm not shy about that. It's these friggin' Republicans and their spend mentality. Run out of money? Just print some more. Sure. We'll never go bankrupt as long as we own the printing presses. They wanted everybody to be homeowners. And I gotta tell you, not everyone is well suited for home ownership. Have you seen some of the knuckleheads they were giving mortgages to? Every idiot, imbecile, and moron was buying a house they couldn't afford, driving up prices, making people like me think we had a lot of equity. Then when the dummies can't pay their bills no more, they walk away from their properties and leave thousands of hardworking people like me underwater on our mortgages and way behind on our implant payments. Those idiots go back to where they started as good-for-nothing renters, and the rest of us owe more money than our houses are worth. Thank you very much, you meddling Republicans. That big idiot known as my husband is a Republican. That should tell you everything you need to know right there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the crap out of that overstuffed teddy bear, but the only reason I vote is to cancel out his stupid vote. My family is in the predicament we're in because of me. It's my fault. Yes, Dan died, but that's not what bankrupted us. It's what I did after that hurt. I didn't get help right away. I took more and more pills. I sold drugs. I became a meth addict, for Christ's sake. I rushed into another marriage. Those were my choices. The bad economy made things harder, but I'm the one who made them unbearable. I just hope someday that my children will forgive me. Believe it or not, I've thought about this a lot, and All I know is that it's not my fault. I mean, I have done everything right. The government wants me to go to college, so I went to college, a lot of college. The government wants me to spend money to help stimulate the economy. I spend everything I make. The government wants me to buy a house. Well, I mean, I would buy a house, but apparently now you have to have a job before they'll give you a mortgage. Because some people ruined it for everybody else. I mean, we do everything the government tells us to do and nothing gets better. I'm getting a little sick of them telling me what to do all the time. I mean, how would they like it if we started telling them what to do? Oh, I don't know that. Why would you ask me that? I don't know whose fault it is. And I'm not like that. I wasn't raised that way. You should know that about me. I'm not the type of person to cast aspersions or throw the first stone. I wasn't raised that way. No, but if you said I had to pick someone, if you said I wasn't leaving this room until I picked somebody, if you held a gun to my head and said, you're not leaving here until you pick someone, then I would have to say the blacks. Yeah, the blacks. I'm not saying that because I'm prejudiced or anything. I know some of the blacks, and they're always very nice to me when I see them, They say hello and thank you and do you want fries with that? I know it's not the Jews. They're very good with money as I understand it. So yeah, the blacks. Are you still recording? For a while, I thought what we would do is get older men out of politics. All throughout history, men be screwing everything up. And Anna's sister who in prison, isn't that because of some man? You think women would start wars? You could forget that. But then I started taking a closer look at the women we already got in politics, and they just like the good for nothing men. Getting rid of all the men wouldn't do a lick of good if we replaced them with women who act like the good for nothing men. You want to know whose fault it is? I tell you, it's ours. That's right, us. All of us. Nobody want to face up to the truth, but that's the truth. Basically, people get the government they deserve. Don't do a lick of good to sit around complaining about the politicians when we the fools who keep sending them back to Washington. We the ones who voting them in because of how tall they are, how their hair look, or what kind of pin they be wearing on their lapel. We the one voting them in because they telling us the lies we want to hear. Them people who tell us what we need to hear, that we too reliant on government to do everything for us, and that we spending more money than we taking in, and that had to stop. They don't stand a chance of hell of getting elected. Yeah, I think we can change, but we got to do it together. We've been living above our means for so long, it's gonna be hard. But yeah, I think we could do it. But we got to do it together. Everybody may look different, act different, like different things. But down inside where it counts, we all the same, I think. Oh, it's like this dream I had a couple weeks ago.
I was sitting up in my apartment and everybody be there. My brother Ricky and his kids and my mama and Willa, Veda, everybody be there. Everybody be getting on my last nerve. And sitting on the couch in front of me, I see God. Looking like he's doing all them paintings in the 16 chapels. With the long beard and the white hair and the flowing robes, you know. And God, he must have read my mind, because he said, don't be upset with them, because everybody in your dream is actually you. What? I said, I might have to think on that one for a while. And then he said, and when you think you're awake, that's a dream. Well, he about blew my mind with that. Now, I know that was just a dream, but still. I can't help but think that maybe things would be getting better if maybe we acted like it was true. I don't know, that's just my opinion. Make no mistake, we will take your money. And there isn't a thing you're going to do about it. You're too busy driving your children to soccer practice, sending text messages, and watching reality TV. So please, keep investing in your retirement accounts, playing the stock market, and ignoring the man behind the curtain. You can't win, but please, please, keep trying. I